The internet has a peculiar talent for taking the profound and making it absurd, and the duck-rabbit graph meme is a perfect example of this alchemy. It is a cultural artifact that sits at the intersection of a 19th century psychological illusion, a 21st century math homework assignment, and a modern internet joke about intelligence beyond our normal understanding. It's a viral moment that, in a few seconds of scrolling, manages to encapsulate how we perceive ambiguous information, how we teach fundamental concepts, and how we humorously explain the inexplicable by referencing the fourth dimension. The image that sparked this viral trend is deceptively simple. A Snapchat spotlight post, which quickly amassed over 13,700 likes, 858 shares, and 64 comments, featured what appears to be a student's math homework. On a coordinate plane, the student had plotted a simple line graph that, in its shape, simultaneously evoked the profile of a duck and the profile of a rabbit. The area was labeled duck, a clear reference to the famous ambiguous figure that is both animals at once. The meme's caption, however, is what elevates it from a simple pun to a viral sensation. It reads, "Student's duck-rabbit graph baffles everyone," and proves that this kid's brain works in the fourth dimension. The reference to the fourth dimension is not literal, of course. It is a playful, hyperbolic way of saying that the student's thinking is so creative, so outside the box, so far beyond the normal confines of a math problem, that it must be operating in a higher plane of existence. It's a perfect cultural shorthand for genius or weird that taps into the broader internet fascination with higher dimensional thinking. The term fourth dimension has become a meme itself, frequently used to describe anything baffling, complex, or seemingly impossible, especially in the context of mind-bending art and science. To understand the full richness of this meme, it is helpful to trace the history of the original duck-rabbit illusion. The classic duck-rabbit drawing is a quintessential example of an ambiguous or multi-stable image. The viewer's perception can flip between seeing a duck facing one way and a rabbit facing another, but they can never see both animals simultaneously. The modern version of the image became famous through the work of American psychologist Joseph Jastrow, who popularized it in his 1899 article, The Mind's Eye. Jastrow, along with other psychologists like Ludwig Wittgenstein, used the illusion to demonstrate that perception is not just a passive process of receiving sensory data, but an active act of mental interpretation. Our past experiences, expectations, and even our current mood can influence what we see. The meme, however, transposes this philosophical and psychological classic from the realm of art and psychology into the rigid, logical world of a Cartesian coordinate plane. This is the source of its humor. A Cartesian plane, used in algebra and geometry, is a tool for precise, unambiguous, and functional plotting. It is the language of science and measurement, of finding the coordinates of birds, rabbits, or cats in a math problem. The idea of a graph that is ambiguous is almost an oxymoron. The chart's ability to be seen as two different things is literally a thought experiment within a mathematical setting that captures the paradox of trying to graph something that defies precise coordinates. The viral spread of the duck-rabbit graph is deeply intertwined with the platform it was shared on. Snapchat's Spotlight feature is designed to surface short, engaging, and often humorous content to a wide audience, making it a fertile ground for memes that rely on a single, punchy visual joke. The format is perfect for a quick burst of "wait, what?" content that a user can process, laugh at, and share in a matter of seconds. It's the kind of content that is designed to be consumed in the brief, attention-fractured moments of modern social media scrolling. Another popular iteration of the meme on the platform uses a reaction image of a man with a beard, often a distracted boyfriend, or similar reaction format, with mathematical equations floating around him to underscore the same feeling of mind-bogglement. The underlying premise of the meme, the very idea that a graph can be ambiguous, is what makes it a perfect vehicle for humor. In a classroom setting, a graph is a mathematical model, a visual representation of a function or a set of data. A coordinate plane with points like a cat at 3, 4, or a bird at 3-4 is about locating a specific thing in a specific place. The duck-rabbit graph subverts this expectation. Its shape isn't just a line, it's an icon. It blurs the line between a formal, representational diagram and an informal piece of art. It's the equivalent of a student responding to a math problem not with an equation, but with a drawing that still technically answers the question. It's a perfect act of malicious compliance, or a sign of a big brain thinking outside the lines. The joke also plays on a shared cultural literacy. You have to be in on the joke to get it. You need to know what the duck-rabbit illusion is. You also need to be familiar with the trope of the overachieving or quirky student who does something wildly creative on a test. And you need to be aware that the fourth dimension is a catch-all term for something mind-bendingly clever. The meme, therefore, works as a sort of in-group marker, a way for people to signal their understanding of psychology, internet culture, and a dash of math, all in one simple share. The response to the meme is as interesting as the image itself. Many comments on viral posts are, predictably, filled with reactions of confusion and awe, like, "What am I looking at?" And "This kid is a genius." This reaction reflects the primary function of the meme, to present something that is both relatable, everyone has seen the duck rabbit, and completely new, but on a graph. Other commenters might point out the duck is also a rabbit, playing along with the joke and demonstrating their own ability to perceive the ambiguity. The ambiguity of the duck-rabbit figure is well documented in psychology. Research shows that the switch between the two percepts isn't instantaneous and can be influenced by factors like context, priming, and the specific orientation of the figure. A classic example of this contextual influence is the finding that children tested on Easter Sunday are significantly more likely to see the figure as a rabbit, whereas children tested in October are more likely to see a duck. This shows that our perception is not purely determined by the physical image itself, but is heavily influenced by our expectations and the environment. The duck-rabbit graph meme fits into the larger category of internet jokes that involve meme math. These are humor formats that take a serious, often complex, mathematical or scientific concept and recontextualize it in a way that is absurd or satirical. Other popular examples include distracted boyfriend math, using the distracted boyfriend meme to represent different fields of mathematics or scientific disciplines. Galaxy brain meme, a progression of images on a graph representing an increasingly enlightened state of mind, often ending in a nonsensical or genius conclusion. Philosopher, a meme featuring a raptor contemplating philosophical conundrums, often about the nature of existence and dimensions. Draw the rest of the owl, a meme that makes fun of overly simplified instructions by showing a graph that is just a chart, signifying a massive leap of logic. By placing a well-known philosophical illusion onto a math graph, the duck-rabbit meme not only creates a pun, but also satirizes the rigidity of formal systems and celebrates creative problem-solving. It's a viral expression of the idea that sometimes the most brilliant solution is not the one that follows the rules, but one that finds a new way to think about them. It suggests that the kid who drew that graph isn't just good at math. He or she is a philosopher, an artist, and a comedian, all because they were able to see a duck and a rabbit in a line on a graph. And in the wonderfully weird world of the internet, that is the ultimate proof of a four-dimensional mind.